All right, everybody, for the next step here, we're going to be doing some titles and a little bit of effect work, some very minor effect work. But what I'm going to be doing here is opening up my original project. I'm doing it on a different hard drive now. I'm on a different hard drive where I only have the high quality media. I've got the proxy media on the other hard drive that I was editing on. I just want that one gone for right now. I'm not accessing the proxy. I've just got a mirrored version of my project here, but with the high quality media instead of the proxy media. So I'm going to open up my project. I'm going to hit locate. Here, it's not finding my high quality media. It found all the audio and everything, but it's not finding the high quality media. So I'm gonna, because right now it's looking for the proxy, and the proxy folders aren't there. If you open this up, you'll notice here it is looking for the proxy folder, and it's not there anymore. So I'm gonna hit locate, and I'm going to go under. This is my new folder. This is my new hard drive, different hard drive with the high quality media. I'm gonna go under the high quality media, and select the same name that it's looking for, and it will reattach all the media, but it's going to be the high quality media now. So that's done. I'm going to go to my editing layout here, and everything's been attached. If you go into one of the clips here, you notice everything has been zoomed up because now it's like twice the resolution in a 2K timeline. So kind of a little trick here you need to do to trick Premiere. I'm going to import one of my original, I'm going to import one of these files. Even though they're already imported, it thinks they're 2K files, but they're actually 4K files. Something that kind of Premiere needs to fix is reconnecting high quality media from offline to online to low quality to high quality. So I'm going to go to my high quality media and import just individually just one of these files here. To create, and I'm going to, and notice how it reads this at 4K, and even though it's reconnected the high quality footage under my media here, it still thinks it's 2K. So that's, like I said, that's something that Premiere needs to fix. I'm going to grab this and drag it to a timeline, and now my timeline is 4K. So I now have this timeline that's 4K. I can get rid of this media now that I've done that, but I'm keeping the timeline, and I'm going to call this 4K edit. So this is my 4K edit. So now what I can do is go to my original timeline here, my original timeline with all my media that's zoomed up, do Control A to select all, Control C to copy, go to my 4K edit, and Control V to paste. And now that that's pasted in there, let's move over this and look. And nothing's zoomed up. All my 4K media is restored. I've got all my high quality media in this timeline now, and it's now referencing the original. In fact, you can see a little bit of the vignetting around the film transfer to digital. But what we're going to do with this is we're going to this was shot to crop off the top and the bottom. We framed it for that purpose, for the 1.85 to 1 aspect ratio, which is going to be fixed in Resolve. But right now we're going to start adding titles to this. And the titles, once again, are going to be in 4K. And this is what happens if you want this to be in 4K instead of 2K, which was the proxy. The proxy files were in 2K, but now the 4K footage is in 4K. So if we want to do a 4K delivery, we have to relink it to the high quality. And we want to make sure, this is really important, because if you want to do the effect work, the credits, and everything else in 4K, this is really important. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my timeline. I'm going to mark some moments here where I want to do a little bit of effect work. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to play through. Basically, I'm going to find like on the dolly move when the camera dollies back. Right here when the camera dollies back, I'm going to do a little bit of stabilization and make it a little bit smoother. So I'm going to put on this. I'm not going to select the clip. I'm going to deselect the clip, but make sure nothing is selected. I'm going to hit M. M is going to put a marker right there. And if I hit M again, it will bring up a little thing. What do I want to name it? I'm going to say effect. I'm going to title this as an effect, and I'm going to do it stabilize. I'm going to do that throughout here, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to have a few different places we're going to be doing some effect, some stabilization and one speed ramp, and I'll come back and show you where I've got these things marked. Okay, after going through this, I have found 3 locations here that needs a stabilizer, and then this is going to be a speed ramp or time ramp. And I've actually got this one named. If I hit the marker here on this clip, it'll show this is an effect and the effect is stabilize and time ramp on this one. So those are the things that we're going to be doing here on these clips. Let's go through the stabilization first. So this is going to be these are all in Premiere Effects. If you're sending them to After Effects, you're going to have to do a high quality export as well from After Effects. Right now, these are just inside of Premiere. So I'm going to go to Effects. I'm going to type in Warp. I bring up the warp stabilizer. I'm going to grab that, drop it onto this clip, and let it start stabilizing. And over here, I'm going to turn off my subspace warp, and I just want this to do it by position. And I'll do a stabilization to make that dolly move a little bit more smooth. I'm going to do that also down here. I'm going to grab my warp stabilizer, drop it onto here, and do the same thing. We're going to make it just position. And I'm going to move down to the next one, and before I do the warp stabilizer, I'm actually going to do a speed ramp on this here. So the speed ramp, what I want to do is I'm going to increase my track height here, and I'm going to go over, and right now I'm not seeing my video keyframes, so I'm going to pull this down, pull this wrench down, say show video keyframes. I'm going to right click on this clip here, and we're going to go to time remapping, and I'm going to make this time remap for speed. So what I want to have happen here is over time I want this, because there's a little fix that I need here. Let me mute my audio here so I don't have the audio going. But when it plays through here, this is going to be a little laggy because it's on the high quality footage. I noticed there was a long time that it sits on these guys just sitting there before they actually get up and move. And another thing I need to do is kind of rotate this to get it framed properly because the camera's tilted a little bit. So as I move through here, they just kind of sit there for a long time, then finally they get up and they move. So I'm going to speed up the instance where he stands up here where the jib and dolly start moving, and I'm going to speed that up through here, and it's going to slow back down when they start to move. So I've got 2 points here, so I'm going to, now that I'm under the speed ramp keyframe here, I'm going to figure out where I want this to start, and right where he finishes his line.
The head and the close.
Right there, head in the close. I'm going to hit Control click to start the speed ramp there, and then when they stand up, right there, I'm going to do a click to end that there. And now I'm going to grab this the speed ramp in between. I'm going to crank up the speed in between about maybe 140% here. Let's see what we get. There we go. Let's play through here.
Close.
And then it speeds up. And I like that speed there. We're just going to smooth out these edges here. I grab these edges and drag them out. And that will gradually smooth. Let's increase track size here. And I'm going to just bevel out the edges so it's a smooth out. And this is a gradual kind of speed up and slow down. And that will smooth it into it with the Bezier curves there. And let's play through it and see what we get. Now speeding up. That'll be smoother when it processes, but I like that. That sped that up a bit. I'm just going to have to make sure that my audio times out with the end when it grabs the bag. I'll have to shift that over and mess with my sound mix there, but that effect is done. So let's get these other effects finished here. So this one here, let's see if this one's finished. That one's done. Let's test the dolly shot here. Once again, it'll be a little chuggy because I'm on the 4K footage.
Nothing.
Let's see when the dolly goes back. Nice and smooth when that goes back because there's a little bit of just kind of flowy movement that with the camera moving back and forth. And now let's see what the dolly looks like as he walks out.
Pepper?
Nice and smooth. I can tell it's really chuggy though for you guys. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, I've got my effects done. I've got 3 effects done, and we have to send these to Resolve. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make standalone movie files that are high quality to export out to Resolve that Resolve can reference. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get to the beginning of this clip here, and we're going to actually have to export these clips out and prep these for our export. So I'm going to put an in point here at the beginning, arrow down, get to the end of the edit here. This is the first frame of the next edit, so I have to arrow over 1 frame to the left and hit O. I've hit in and out on my timeline. I had to arrow one frame back to get on the actual out point. I'm going to hit Control M to export. And we're going to do QuickTime, we're going to do ProRes 444, so the high quality, and everything down here we're going to match. We're going to turn off the audio, we just want the effect clip, and it's going to export this out. It'll be lossless because it's from ProRes 444 to ProRes 444. So I'm going to cue that, and it will send it to Media Encoder. Now I'm going to go down to the next clip that we have to export out. Here's my other effect. I've got 3 effects to export out here. So right there, in point. Arrow down and get to the end of this shot here. Right there, arrow 1 frame back to the left, very important. So it's on the out point of the current clip, O for out point. And we're going to hit Control M. And right now it's set at the same 4K. Let's see, ProRes 444, no audio, and cue that. And it's sending these over to a Media Encoder. And go back, and we're going to do that to one more effect, this speed ramp. And also I'm going to add I forgot to add a stabilization to it, so I'm going to do that really quick. Add the stabilizer to it, and it gives me that issue. It says warp stabilizer and time remapping can't be used on the same clip. So what I have to do now is I have to remove that warp stabilizer, and I'm going to right click on this, and we're going to nest it, and right click on just the video here, hold down Alt and just right click on it, select it, and now right click on it and say nest, and I'm going to call this time remap, so I know what that nest is. it'll nest it into another timeline, and now it treats it like it's a standalone clip with no effects applied. I can grab my warp stabilizer and drop it on this one. And turn off my subspace warp, let that finish. All right, let this finish up, almost done here. All right, stabilization finishing up, and it's finished. And we got a nice smooth, stable shot. It's gonna be chuggy playing back, but
We come back to the head and the close.
okay. I'm gonna fix the rotation in Resolve later on because we're gonna zoom up on it a little bit. But for right now, this works pretty well. The stabilization works well here. So we've got these shots done. This one now I have to export this. Send this one out to export in point. Get back to the ending frame of this clip. O for out point. Control M to export. It's already set up in the right codec, so I'm going to hit Q. And I've got all three of these clips, these effect clips, inside of Media Encoder. So I'm going to select all, Control A, and click the location that I want these to save. I'm going to go inside here, and I'm going to go to my high quality media, and I'm going to put it just right inside my high quality media folder, and then when Resolve is looking for it, it'll know where exactly to find everything. I can even put a folder in here if I want to, and just call this effects, so I know what these files are. Select that folder, and we're going to press play and let those encode. Now once those are through encoding, we're going to go back into Premiere and open them back up. So let's let that finish, and we'll be right back. Alright, this is finishing up here, almost done, and boom, done. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Premiere. I'm going to import my media here, my effects. I'm going to import that folder right there. And I am going to just simply replace these now in my timeline. I've got a duplicate timeline, so I've got my original 2K timeline there, and then I've got my duplicate timeline here. I'm going to grab, under Effects, I'm going to grab my... And I probably should have renamed these like Effect 1, 2, and 3, but I didn't. So this is the first one, second one, third one, so it's a little confusing. But when I should have renamed those so I knew what these files were. And since there's only 3, it's kind of easy. But I'm going to drag this up here and hover over, lock it into place, and drop it. Now it has completely replaced that media file. So now I'm going to go to this one, and now that stabilized footage has replaced that completely. I'm going to grab the second one, drop that in, make sure it locks to the frame. So my edit hasn't changed at all. Then I'm going to go to the last one here and put my time remap down here. There we go. And I'm going to clear my in and out point on my timeline. Control Shift X or Option X on a Mac. Replaced it. And then I'm going to have to, since the timing has changed here, I'm going to have to change the ending here and move my sound effect over and make sure that times out with the bag being grabbed. And that works just fine. Grabs the bag, cuts, and let's listen to the rest of the music. Make sure the sound mix works here. Shorten that, shorten this to equal the new time. And then when he grabs it, needs to move over just a little bit because the time remapping changed the time of this clip. So there we go. There we go. That works. I got my sound mix all done. I've got the effects all done in here. Let's start working on credits now. Let's start working on graphics and credits.